What's up, nerds? So we just finished The Expanse, and by the way, this is my brother Marlon. Marlon, go ahead and say hi to everybody.
Hello, nerds.
So this was episode 8. Marlon, just real quick, what did you think about this episode?
So, at first, while watching it, I really got annoyed
Mm-hmm.
because I thought it was super slow, but the last maybe 5 minutes pulled me back in.
Gotcha. I liked the whole episode. It was very good. It was very good to me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. Okay, so we will stop diddle-daddling and get right into this. We'll jump right into this. So we first start off with Amos and Nina Peaches, and they are on their motorcycles and they're going across, the country or the state, and they stop to pee. They take a pee break, and they're at what we find out might be a nursing home later on. And they're just chit chatting, and Nina's
Mhm.
talking about how she's getting her senses back, her sense of smell, her sense of taste, and everything. And he comments on her appetite and everything. And then she sees,
Yeah, the blockers are wearing off on her.
yeah. And then she sees like an Afghan slash blanket, and she notices there's a tarp over in like this corner of this building or whatever. And she goes over there and she lifts up the tarp, and there's a bunch of dead people, wrapped up in like bags or whatnot. And Amos is all like, this was probably a nursing home, and they everybody that could walk out of here did, and everything. And Peaches comments, I hope this was a gift of mercy or something like that. I can't remember her exact words.
Mhm.
And then she's like, how long do you think it's going to be like this? And he's like, for a while. And then that scene ends. So what did you think about that first scene?
So, I think they did a really good job at kind of giving us the effects of what happened after the meteor hit. I'm gonna say this feels like maybe a week or 2 weeks afterwards. They don't really give you a good timeline. Um, but I like them. They make it feel very apocalyptic, if
Right
you
on.
will.
Right on. So then moving to the next scene, we are on I don't remember Marco's last or his ship's name, but we're on his ship.
The Pella.
Lapella, thank you. And he's looking at Sin and everything, and Sin is dead, which I'm bummed that Sin is dead. I was bummed. And he's talking to Philip, and he's all like, tell me what happened. And he's like, Mom jumped out the airlock, and Sin tried to stop her or whatnot. And Marco is all like, you killed him by bringing her on our ship and everything. And he, tells him to go away, kind of thing. And that was
No,
all we
I
saw.
think well, it's even shorter than that because he gets very angry. And Philip just says, "Why did she have to kill him?" And he
Right.
just snaps on him and says, "You killed him."
Mm,
And it just shows that like Marco really doesn't, in my just the way you see it, he really doesn't care about what Philip is to him, like a son. He
hmm
just cares about what he can use him for, like everybody
Right.
else. So, but it was kind of nice to see him have some kind of emotion when Sin died. So I like
Right
that.
on. Yes. And then we're
And,
on.
and I would like to add, it's
Go.
unfortunate that we don't get more of Marco in this season, in this episode, because that's the only scene we get him in.
I agree. I do like Marco. The actor that plays him does such a good job. He does a really, really
He,
good job.
re- I'm telling you, whoever casts for this show, I don't know how they do it, but television shows need to hire this person and take a seminar or something because I don't have any like I tried to think about this actually on Wednesday or Tuesday. Actually, I got the episode a little bit early, but on Wednesday, I started thinking like, has there been an actor on here that I don't enjoy watching? I mean,
Right
there's
on.
some less than others, obviously, but everybody they've cast have, in my opinion, has done a really good job. I mean, there's obviously better ones than I love Dominique. But anyway,
Yeah, right on. Speaking of Dominique Tipper, we move over to uh uh her ship. And so Naomi is all messed up from the drugs that she took and being out in space and everything.
Mm-hmm.
and she's in pain and she's trying to, and her hand was all gross. I was like, oh, it's all
Yeah.
puffy and everything.
It looked like she got stung by bees.
Yeah. And so, but I was like, okay, and so she's trying to check out the ship and she notices the bombs are all over the ship.
Yep.
And they say something like, do not try to disarm them or whatever. Don't try to
Yeah,
touch.
it said something like that. Like, do not disarm after once it's been armed, essentially.
Yeah, something like that. And so she notices they're all over the ship and she can't, and it's sending out a distress signal with her voice or whatnot, saying, hey, send this message to Holden. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what it said and I didn't write it down, but it's sending out this distress signal. And she's trying to stop it or fix it and everything. And she's
Yeah.
having no luck whatsoever. And she's getting frustrated. And then she goes, she finds that little suit and everything. And then we stop there and we head over to Holton on the Rocinante. And they're looking at the debris from the ship from the last episode that blew up. That was carrying the proto molecule.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about it and everything. And they were like, would a reactor exploding destroy the proton molecule? And I think, what did he say? Something like,
He said that's how we've always destroyed it in the past.
right
Like
on,
this immense heat destroying it.
right on. So then we move over to Drummer and her pirate ships, and they are salvaging some wrecked Belter ships, and they're taking all the stuff from it.
In the words of Drummer, they're now scavengers.
Right on. And you can tell the frustration between the crew, even with this very first scene where they're coming back into the ship and they turn the gravity on and all the stuff falls and one of them gets all pissy with the other one and everything. And it's like they were a family and now they're starting to fall apart a little bit after joining Marco's little group. And so I cannot remember this woman's name, but she's Marco's little lackey. She's on the bridge of the ship. And what's her face comes in. I don't remember all their names. There's a lot of characters on this show. People are going to get mad at me that I don't remember their names, but whatever. I don't remember her name, but she comes in and they're talking. Go ahead. Did you have something to say?
Just give everybody, I try to give everybody nicknames like the Marco's, she's Lady Blue Lips.
Oh my God. I was just about to say, well, she can be Blue Lips. I was going to call her.
Yeah, I call her Lady Blue Lips, and I call the other actress First Wife because I don't remember all their names.
That's what I'm going to call them now too. First Wife and Lady Blue Lips. Okay, so
Yeah.
Lady Blue Lips is talking to First Wife, and First Wife is like, you destroyed this other Belter ship because they didn't want to join Marco. And she's like, no, Marco gave them the chance. They turned it down. But then they attacked a Belter ship that was a part of the First Navy, and Marco defends his allies.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that was pretty much the gist of that conversation, unless you wanted to add something else onto that.
No. I mean, I think they just kind of reiterate, I think that she tells her that to reiterate, like, we don't take lightly to enemies and you're either with us or against us. So pick a side of the fence kind of thing.
Right on. So then we go over to Luna, and the new leader of the world is addressing, some people or whatnot, and the peoples of Earth and everything. And he gives this I thought it was a pretty good speech talking about how they're going to take action against the Belt and the Belters. And, they will not be met with fear. They won't let fear dictate them, but they are going to strike back. And everybody claps and everything. And then they're, walking through the halls or whatnot. And they, they're headed to the little council room or whatever. I can't remember what, yeah. Yeah. So he just gives a speech, and then we go over to Boston, and Amos and Peaches are in Boston. They go back to Amos's brother. I don't remember his name, but Lefty. We'll call him Lefty because he's missing that hand or whatnot.
Stubby.
Yeah, Stubbs. Anyway, so he's all like, I told you if you came back, I'd kill you and everything. And he's all like, well, every place sucks, so where was I gonna go, kind of thing. And he's like, Peach is all like, you get us to this island for rich people, and there's a ship there that can get us off planet. And they're like, we'll bring you with us if you get us there. And he's like, why would I want to leave? And they're like, why would you want to stay? How long do you think you're going to last in this climate? Because, like Amos said, it's going to get crazy real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so he decides he's going to go without his nonverbal cues. He's going to go. And then I like how Amos was all like, I saw some cases of that whiskey. We should take some of that with us and everything. That was pretty funny.
You know what's crazy is, so I think just Amos is smart enough. He's not using it he's not thinking of it as selfish purposes. You would need to bribe your way through guards or like check stations, and whiskey's going to be a hot commodity in these situations. So he might be thinking, let's take it with us, so if we need to bribe guards. Also, he might be selfish because he does like his booze.
Right on. Both of those are definitely good points.
But one thing you skipped over was the great story that Clarissa, or Peaches, tells him about when she was in prison. There was a woman that
Sorry, yeah, no.
5 children, and she would talk about them like they were alive. And one day she just approached her and said, "Look, I know they're dead, but I'm dead too, and you're the only beep in here that thinks she's alive."
Right on. No, I'm glad that you brought that up because I did forget that.
Yeah, and it just kind of shows this guy like, look, you might be king of the world, and you might have had a great life, but like me, you're gonna have to start over and try to make anew, because he even describes his territories like half underwater. So what good does it do you to have an empire you can't rule? So
right. Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. Thank you for pointing that out. So then we move over back to the president of the world and Avasarala. I've practiced that. And they're having a meeting about what they're going to do next. And he's all like, they come up with this plan to attack this station.
Station.
Yeah. And there's a back and forth between, should they attack it because they think a high percentage of belters on this station are for Marco Anaris, but then there's another part. There's this other woman that's all like, yeah, but what if that percentage is wrong and you're just killing a bunch of innocent civilians? And then there's the whole back to, well, they killed millions of innocent people. What's the difference? And I have to be honest, I was very conflicted with during this whole thing. I was all like, maybe they should attack them just to show them like, hey, you want to go? But at the same time, I go, you want to hold off because you don't know how much they've got, and you don't know how many ships, belter ships they've rallied. You may have more advanced ships out there, but they might outnumber you. And they could, that could be detrimental to you if you don't, calm down and, check out what's going on. What'd you think of this scene?
You're gonna have to cut this, but at 8 o'clock, my alarm's gonna go off and it's gonna rattle my phone. So
okay,
let's wait 1 minute. It'll go off, and I'll tell you what I think of the scene, and you can hopefully edit it.
Oh, I can. Yeah, I will. I'll just be like, what did you think of it after it goes off?
Tim Pool just put a thing that he's doing a live stream tonight. He does it every night at 8. It says Twitter nukes Antifa finally. So I wonder if they kicked Antifa off. Anyway, okay. So say, what do you think of this scene now?
Okay. So tell me, what did you think of this scene?
So at first I was kind of conflicted. And said, yeah, they should just start hitting soft targets to kind of piss everybody off and show them that they are strong. But at the same time, if you start kicking the anthill, more ants come out. So I think it's smart to, maybe they I think a smarter move. Avasarala is not wrong. Destroying a station, probably a bad idea. But if you stop ships from coming to and from these stations, then you start, making these people kind of submit to a more rule. But I don't like Marco's plan with the attacking Earth with the meteors, because he's essentially a weaker bully he's picking on somebody that does have the ability to fight back and fight back pretty hard. Like he didn't. He may have demoralized them for a minute, but now they're obviously they're getting angry, and eventually that anger will turn into them striking back.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Yeah. Okay, so then go back over to Naomi, and she's not giving up. She's like, I am not giving up. I'm gonna find something out. And she's taking apart this helmet because she's able to hook it up to the system or whatnot, and she can receive incoming. Oh, wait, before we get into that, I want to say, like, I really liked the part where she got the little straps from the wall and she hooked it up to the thing, and then she was pulling because she wanted to get that little wrench thing. I don't know what it was called or whatnot.
It's a tool. I'll tell you right now, this scene, this is why I love Dominique's acting. The entire time, every time she got hurt, I just kept saying to the screen, like I hate when people talk to the TV because like,
Right.
but every time she was like, ugh, I was like, stop, you're hurting yourself.
No,
Stop
right.
hurting yourself. Because she did a fantastic job. Like
Hmm.
if anything, if everything else went wrong in this episode, that's the one thing that was a shining light. Like she did a great job, and I loved it. Anyway,
Right on. Yeah, no, I love her too. She's so good. And that's why she's our favorite character. I think that.
she's my favorite character
Mm-hmm.
in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep, Dominique
yeah,
Tipper brings so much to it. So she does get the little grate up, and she does get that little tool, and she starts working. And I love that. That's what I love about Naomi is she's just constantly trying to figure something out. And like I said before, she's able to hook up the helmet to the ship's computer, and she can receive messages, but she can't put out messages. And she keeps going into that little corridor where she can't breathe. Like she only has like so much oxygen, and then the CO2 gets in, and she has to leave and everything.
yeah. She only has what oxygen she can seal inside the suit. Because once she
Right
starts,
on. So then she does get in there, and she does try to send out that little message about how, she can't do anything or whatnot, and it's a trap. It's a
mhm.
trap. So then we go back to Drummer's ship, and Drummer's working on the thing on the like a helmet. She's like cleaning or whatnot, and she's talking to her first wife. And then there's I think the bigger part is the scene with the crew, and they're all sitting there like eating lunch or whatnot. And you can tell there's tension, and it's very very high and everything. And then they start getting into, you got the one guy with like the weird mohawk where he's all like, he tells the girl, you're looking to the past, we need to look to the future. And
Also for nicknames, I call him Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice, that's a good one. It's a good
And
one. So, and it's very obvious that, the girl doesn't want to be with Marco, but the guy does because they, and everything. And then the other guy, he spills water, but it's floating because it's space. And he's like, you need to clean up your mess. And so to clean up the mess, he like slurps it out of there. I have to say, the only time that like the CGI was pretty good, except for you could obviously tell that there was no water there when the first wife and Vanilla Ice went to go drink the water together, and it looked like the first wife just went like this with her lips, and I'm all like, oh well, that looks fake. You doesn't look like you're drinking real water. So I'm all
yeah,
like, okay, but hey, but it was fine.
yeah,
Did you like this scene? What did you think about it?
yeah. I did because I think that um, because this episode didn't have a whole lot of action stuff in it, or at least not action that we got to see. I think that when they take a time to develop the human element, it makes it better. Because
Mhm.
what you see is you see how upset Drummer is that they're in this situation, but she's pushing through. You see how the family is getting divided because of the decision they had to make, and we all know they didn't have a real decision. They knew. We all know that everybody has to join Marco because then they suffer, what this other crew suffered. So I liked it because you got to see them essentially coming back together as this um family over some spilt water.
Right on, right on. Then we move over to Bobby and Alex, and they're just they're headed through space and everything, just chit chatting a little bit. Their scenes for the past couple of episodes have been very small. And so their big thing here is they get distress signal from the fake distress signal from Naomi.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, we're headed your way or whatnot. Well, they say that later on, but and then we move over to Holden on the Rocinante, and they get the message from Alex and everything. And then we move back. What did you think about that? Do you want to comment on any of that? Because
it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's so small.
Alex and Bobby, we're not getting anything from them really. I suspect until the last episode, we won't really get a whole lot from those two characters. But
right on. So then we move back over to Luna, where the leader of the world is. He brings that Admiral guy in who's all like, we need to attack this space station. And he brings him in and he's talking to him. And I think it's because he wants to attack them. And he's just, trying to figure out how to do it and go about it the right way.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then we go back to Naomi, because she did play a heavy part in this episode, and she gets a call from Alex and Bobby telling her that they're on their way, and she's like, no, it's a trap and everything. And then she starts to set to work. She's all like, all right, I need to get to work because my friends are coming for me, and if I don't do something about this right now, they're going to die. Yeah, and I love Naomi for that.
Yep.
Then we move over to Drummer again, and they're on the bridge, and Lady Blue Lips shows up, and she's all like, we need to go here to reinforce some stuff with this person or whatnot. And then they get the distress call from Naomi also. And she's all like, we're going to go save Naomi. We need to get to her. And Lady Blue Lips is like, no, we don't. Cancel that call. It doesn't matter anyways. And she's like, why? And she's like, because Naomi Nagata is dead. She's like, what are you talking about? She's all like, she jumped out of an airlock. And Drummer gets really upset. And she's going to attack Lady Blue Lips, but First Wife holds her off. And then she goes into the room and she starts screaming because she's so angry her friend is dead. And then she takes that bottle that what's-his-face gave her when they would celebrate, and she starts drinking it. And I was like, oh, you drink your bottle and everything.
Well, if you remember when she gave that to Ashford and he gave it back, there's one season, I can't remember, where she says, I only drink when I'm angry. And so it makes sense that she would be drinking it the moment she was angry that Naomi. And I'm going to say, I got I don't want to say emotional, but I definitely got goosebumps when Drummer was screaming because, we've all been, in that moment where we get news about losing someone we love, and we have some kind of emotional reaction, whether it be anger or, sadness.
Right on.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good scene. It was a good scene.
It was a good scene. Yeah, for sure. So then Naomi sets off to work, and she opens up this panel thing, and she's like putting her tool in there, and she keeps repeating the message over and over again to herself. And she's moving the little thing to where it makes the message cut out and it distorts the message. And then she keeps running out of oxygen or whatnot. And then she runs back and everything and refuels and everything. And she's able to change the message. So then we get to Lady Blue Lips and the First Wife. They're sitting in the mess hall talking. And Lady Blue Lips is talking about Naomi Nagata, about how they were close when they were younger. And she thought she knew, well, she did know her at the time. And, and they were family. And then Naomi lost her way because she forgot what they were trying to do. And then, we see Drummer and she's drunk, just floating in, some room somewhere. And then all of a sudden they hear the distress call again, and it's being distorted. And she's like, is Naomi alive? And she's like, that's impossible. She's dead. And then she gives her that look like, is she though? And then it ends. And I was all like, ooh, I can't wait for next week. Because I think it's only 10 episodes this season. So we only have 2 episodes left. And I'm all like, what fun things do they have planned for this show? Because I'm quite excited.
Yeah.
What did you think about that last scene?
I think it saved the episode for me. The part, the part where you finally see Naomi's plan come together, and the message is, this is Naomi Nagata on the I can't remember the name of the ship, and I'm in control, or I'm in nav control, something along those. So I wonder if, I don't know how they're going to interpret the message. Like, she's in control, does that mean she's going to do something different with the ship? Is she going to blow it up? But yeah, it was, and then when they realized that Naomi could be alive, and the episode cuts with, you know, with that happening, um, I was just like, oh my gosh, they saved it. They brought me back, because here I was getting bored watching, Naomi run through there hyperventilating because she's about to suffocate, and then make a mark on the wall and then run back. I'm like, man, this is getting daunting. But no, it saved the episode for me because I'm super stoked.
Right on. Yeah, no, I loved this episode. I wasn't my favorite episode, but I did like it a lot. I thought it was very good. It was very high tension, because I was like, oh man, and everything. I thought she was gonna be able to get like a message out though by the end, but she didn't get a message out. She just changed the one that was already playing. And I really liked Drummer also. I really like that character too. It's really good. Yeah, I liked this episode a lot. I thought it was very, very good. Do you have anything else that you want to add about this episode? Anything
No, it's pretty straightforward. It was a good 6 out of 10 for me. But
right on?
I'm just I wonder where they're gonna go with the last 2 episodes. And this is why I hate that these seasons are only 10 episodes, because I want more.
I hear you.
But
I hear you.
um
Okay. Well, you guys tell us what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? What was your favorite part about this episode? Who's your favorite character on The Expanse? What do you think is going to happen next week if you haven't read the books? If you read the books, you probably already know. You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know I won't mind. Marlon, you won't mind either?
I won't mind.
Damn straight you won't. And if you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And we will see you next week on our Expanse review and breakdown. You guys have a good week. Bye.